Right now, tonight, millions of Americans are sitting at kitchen tables doing the same math and coming up short, not because they made bad decisions, not because they were irresponsible, but because something fundamental shifted underneath them, and almost no one in power is saying it out loud. 1 in 3 Americans is one emergency away from financial collapse. Not a statistic you read once and forget. 1 in 3. That might be your neighbor, your coworker, your sister. Maybe it's you. And here's what makes this story different from every other economy is tough video you've seen. We're going to tell you exactly who it's happening to, why it's happening, and what almost no one is telling you can actually do about it. Stay with us, because by the end of this, you'll understand your financial situation in a way that most people never will. But before we dive in, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. I subscribe. And I'll personally welcome you into the family. With that said, let's get started. Beat 1, the middle class lie. Let's start with a word you've heard your whole life. The middle class. Politicians love it. Advertisers sell to it. Parents told us to aspire to it. But here's something that will make you stop and think. The U.S. government has no official definition of middle class. None. It's not a tax bracket, not a census category, not a legal term. It's a feeling, and feelings can be manipulated. According to Pew Research, in 2023, middle-income households have dropped from 61% of the American population in 1971 to just 50% today. That's not a dip. That's a decade-long erosion disguised as normal life. Meet Marcus, 52 years old, from a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. He spent 28 years as a floor supervisor at a manufacturing plant. The kind of guy who knew every worker's name, who stayed late without being asked, who told his kids, work hard, stay loyal, and it'll pay off. In 2021, the plant restructured. That word, restructured, is corporate language. We found a way to do this without you. Marcus's 401k had $67,000 in it. That sounds like something, until your mortgage is $1,400 a month and the job market in your town has 3 openings and hundreds of applicants. Today, Marcus drives Uber until 1 a.m. Not occasionally, every night. He told his daughter, "I didn't do anything wrong." That's what scares me. And that's the thing nobody talks about. It's not the people who made bad choices who are struggling the most right now. It's the people who made all the right ones. But here's where it gets worse. Beat 2, the medical debt trap. What is the #1 cause of personal bankruptcy in the United States? Not gambling, not addiction, not buying things you couldn't afford, getting sick. A landmark study in the American Journal of Public Health found that 66.5% of all U.S. bankruptcies are tied to medical issues, either the bills themselves or the lost income from being too ill to work. 66%. In a country where most people have health insurance. Linda is 47. She teaches 4th grade in Tennessee. She has insurance through her school district. The kind of insurance that sounds solid until you actually need it. In 2022, she was diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer. The good news, they caught it early. She went through treatment. She's healthy now. The bills came after. Her insurance covered 80%. That sounds good. What left was $34,000 in out-of-pocket costs. Costs she didn't know existed because she never had to use her insurance for anything serious. She sat at her kitchen table at 2 in the morning, not sick anymore, but staring at numbers that made her chest tighter than any chemo ever did. Here's what Linda didn't know, and what most Americans don't know. Every nonprofit hospital in the United States is legally required to offer charity care and financial assistance programs. It's part of their tax-exempt status. But they are not required to tell you this. You have to ask, specifically, in writing. The Kaiser Family Foundation reported in 2022 that 41% of American adults are currently carrying medical debt. That's 100 million people. And a significant portion of them are paying bills they could have legally reduced or eliminated if they'd known the right questions to ask. We'll link resources below. Use them. But wait. Even if you never get sick, even if you pay every bill on time, there's another way your money is disappearing that is completely, totally, 100% legal. Beat 3, wage theft and invisible crime. This next number is going to sound wrong the first time you hear it, so we're going to say it twice. Every year, more money is stolen from American workers than from every bank robbery, gas station holdup, and convenience store theft combined. In 2021, the Economic Policy Institute calculated that approximately $50 billion is taken from workers annually through wage theft, unpaid overtime, stolen tips, illegal deductions, off-the-clock work requirements. All property crimes combined for $0.9 billion. The bigger theft barely makes the news. Rosa is 34. She's worked in hospitality in Miami for 11 years. She's good at her job. Managers love her. Customers request her section. For 3 years, her tips were being partially skimmed by management, a practice that is illegal in Florida but happens constantly because most workers don't know their rights. She filed a complaint with the Department of Labor. She won $11,000 in recovered wages. She spent $8,000 on legal fees to collect it. I won, she said, but I'm not sure I won. If you think this only happens to hourly workers, it doesn't. Salary employees are misclassified every day to deny them overtime protections. It just gets a politer name. Here's what you can do right now, tonight, for free. Document everything. Screenshot your timesheets. Keep your own records. Save any text or email that changes your hours or pay. If something feels wrong, file a claim with the Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division. Online. Free. No attorney required to start. Wage theft is common. Knowledge of your rights is rarer. And that gap is not an accident. But even if every dollar of your wages was paid correctly, inflation may have already spent them for you. Beat 4, the silent tax. Your paycheck grew over the last 4 years. And statistically, you are poorer than you were before it grew. The Bureau of Labor Statistics tracked real wages. That's wages adjusted for inflation, and found that American workers experienced 25 consecutive months of real wage decline between 2021 and 2023. 25 months. Over 2 years where every raise, every cost of living adjustment, every bonus was outrun by the price of existing. But the inflation story goes even deeper than rising prices. Have you heard the word shrinkflation? It's not a theory. It's an industry practice. The package stays the same size. The price stays the same, sometimes even goes up, but the actual product inside, smaller. The Consumer Price Index and Independent Consumer Research tracked over 3,500 product reductions between 2019 and 2023. Your bag of chips, your can of tuna, your box of cereal. You're paying the same or more for less. Nobody sends you a memo. The shelf looks identical. You don't even notice until you're somehow out of everything 3 days earlier than usual. James is 61. He's a retired postal worker from Savannah, Georgia. 30 years of service. A pension. He did the planning that financial advisors always talk about. Saved consistently. Bought a modest home, kept his expenses predictable. In 2020, his monthly grocery bill was $280. By 2024, buying the exact same items at the same store, it was $490. His pension didn't adjust for that. His fixed income is fixed. The prices are not. I thought I was set, he said. Now I feel like I'm running on a treadmill that keeps getting faster. Here's the practical side. Economists who study inflation personally use a few key strategies: buying staples in bulk when prices dip, switching to store-brand equivalents that often come from the same factories, and using unit price comparisons rather than package price comparisons. Small moves, real savings. But here's the question nobody's asking out loud. If you're losing purchasing power, someone is gaining it. And finding out who leads you somewhere most financial news won't take you. Beat 5. Who actually benefits? This is not a conspiracy theory. It's accounting. When purchasing power shifts, when 100 million people can afford less, that value doesn't disappear. It moves. The question is always, to whom? A landmark 2020 study by the Rand Corporation ran the numbers on income distribution going back to 1975. Their finding was staggering. If the distribution of income had simply remained at 1,975 levels, not become more equal just stayed the same, the bottom 90% of American earners would collectively receive $2.5 trillion more per year than they currently do. $2.5 trillion per year. That is a cumulative transfer of wealth that has occurred over 5 decades. Nobel Prize-winning economist Joseph Stiglitz has argued that this didn't happen through neutral market forces. It happened because the rules of the market were actively rewritten to favor specific outcomes. And this isn't a left or right issue. The deregulation of financial markets, the weakening of labor law enforcement, the expansion of corporate subsidies, these happened under administrations of both parties, in good economic times and bad. Derek is 29. He lives in Austin, Texas. He earns $95,000 a year, a salary that, on paper, should mean financial stability. His rent is $2,400 a month. That's nearly 40% of his take-home pay. He graduated with $180,000 in student loan debt at 6.5% interest. He has no savings. At 29, doing everything right by the metrics he was given, degree, career, income, he is, in practical terms, starting from behind zero. My parents bought a house at 27, he said. I can't afford to buy a used car without it affecting my loan payments. This is not a personal failure. The cost of entry-level stability, housing, education, healthcare has risen at rates that wages have not matched for an entire generation. But here's the important thing, the hopeful thing, genuinely. Countries have faced these inflection points before. South Korea implemented sweeping household debt restructuring programs in the early 2000s. Denmark built systems where economic mobility is among the highest in the world. These are not fantasies. They are documented policy choices with measured outcomes. And in the U.S. right now, there are legal tools most Americans don't use. Income-driven repayment adjustments, hardship-based credit negotiation, tenant union protections, and workplace cooperative models that are quietly growing in places no one is covering. Which brings us to the question underneath all of this. If these stories are real, and they are, why are you hearing them? Beat 6, The Silence and the Map. In 1983, 90% of American media was owned by 50 different companies. Today, according to a free press analysis in 2023, 90% of what 330 million Americans see, read, and hear flows through just 6 corporations. Now, media consolidation is a complex topic with legitimate arguments on multiple sides. But here is a simple, observable truth. The stories that explain systemic economic pressure on working Americans are among the least profitable stories to tell. They don't sell ads to the audiences who can most afford to buy them. They complicate relationships with major advertisers. They raise questions that don't resolve tidily in a 90-second segment. That's not malice. It's incentive. And incentives shape what gets covered, which means you have to be your own researcher, your own filter. And we're not saying that to be dramatic. We're saying it because it's practically true, and there are specific things you can do with that knowledge this week. 1. Learn your workplace rights. The Department of Labor website is free, searchable, and covers overtime, tip laws, and misclassification in plain language. 2. If you have medical debt, call the hospital's financial assistance office, not billing, and ask specifically about charity care eligibility. Do it in writing. Keep records. 3. If you rent, look up whether your city has a tenants' rights organization. Many offer free legal consultations that landlords are counting on you not knowing about. 4. Track your real wage. Take your monthly take-home. Subtract your essential costs, housing, food, utilities, transport, and track that number every 3 months. Not the dollar amount. The gap. That gap is your actual financial health indicator. And watching it change will tell you more than any economic headline. Marcus is still driving at night, but he found a worker advocacy organization in Columbus and is now helping other laid-off manufacturing workers navigate unemployment appeals. Linda negotiated $18,000 of her medical debt down to $4,000 through the hospital's internal assistance program, the one they didn't mention until she specifically asked. Rose is training other restaurant workers on wage documentation. She says, the only reason they got away with it so long is because we didn't know the words to fight back. James started a grocery buying co-op with 6 neighbors. Their collective purchasing power cut everyone's food costs by 22%. None of these stories made the news, but they're all true, and you now know things that most people watching the economy from the outside will never piece together. Marcus, Linda, Rosa, James, Derek, 5 people who did what they were told, who followed the map they were given, who are living in the gap between the promise and reality. Their stories are not exceptions. They are the pattern. So here's the question we genuinely want to know, and we're asking you to think about it seriously before you answer. Do you still believe the American dream is achievable? Or do you think the rules have changed so fundamentally that the dream itself needs to be redefined? Drop your answer in the comments. Tell us which story hit closest to home, or share one of your own. We read every single comment, because these stories deserve to be heard somewhere.